We love to see bubbles in our glasses, but all sparkling wines are not the same. They may have bubbles dancing in the glass, but the styles of production may be different. So in this video, we explore 4 styles of sparkling wine. Enjoy the video, give it a like, comment on your favorite sparkling wine, and subscribe to our channel for more.
The traditional method of producing sparkling wine is called Method Champenoise, Metodo Classico, or Classic Method. To do the traditional method, first a base still wine is produced. If different grapes are blended, they're blended at this point. The base wine, which is a dry wine, is bottled with a mixture of yeast and sugar called the liqueur de tirage. The secondary fermentation begins inside the bottle, and as the bottle is sealed, the gas is trapped, forming bubbles. Now, here's the interesting thing of how the secondary fermentation happens. Carefully and gently, my sample bottle here, the bottle is turned gradually to move the lees, the dead yeast, to the neck of the bottle. This is called riddling, and the lees will move up to the neck, which is then frozen in an ice bath, and then the yeast and sediment are ejected outside of the bottle. At this point, depending on the level of sweetness you want, the producer will add the liqueur de expedition, and this amount of sugar will determine the amount of sweetness in the bubbles. Now, many wines around the world are made in the traditional method, but the most famous is champagne. An example of it is the Billecart Salmon Brut Reserve. Now, this is only $36 for champagne. And a little bit about Billecart Salmon. It was founded in 1818, and it is the oldest continuously family-owned and operated champagne house in Champagne that's today managed by the 7th generation of the family. This particular champagne is a blend of the 3 primary grapes of Champagne, which are Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier. And it's just a beautiful light wine. It's got like a straw yellow color, these slow rising bubbles, the perlage, which is so pretty to look at. It's harmonious and light and fresh with floral and ripe pear and apple, floral notes, citrus. And on the palate, it's super precise. It's bright and just, it's got this linear acidity. It's just delicious. And we all know that to pair with champagne, think French fries, potato chips, and fried chicken.
Perfect. Well, we do have another style of sparkling wine, Allison. We have the Charmat method. And in this method, grapes are harvested, pressed, and fermented to produce a still, dry base wine, which is like the traditional method that we just talked about. This base wine, though, is put in large stainless steel tanks along with a mixture of sugar, yeast, nutrients, and a clarifying agent. The tank is sealed, and the secondary fermentation doesn't take place in the bottle. It takes place in that tank under carefully controlled conditions. So when the secondary fermentation is completed, the wine is now sparkling. The dead yeast cells, or lees, are removed through the filtration process, and under a pressurized environment, the sparkling Prosecco, for example, is placed into bottles. So one example of a sparkling wine using the Charmat method is the Zonin Prosecco for $15. And this is made of 100% Glera grapes. It only has 11% alcohol, and it's from the vineyards in Verona region of northern Italy. So much fruit forward aromas and flavors. I've had this before, full disclosure. And that is part of the magic of the Charmat method. It really retains that bright acidity, those bright fruit flavors that are perfect with appetizers, with anything, pastas, salads, seafood. It's just lovely. I mean, what a wonderful price. And peaches, lemon zest, golden apple, hint of almond even. Now we have another method, one that you may have heard of, maybe you haven't. It's called pet nat. And pet nat is short for pétillant naturel, which means natural sparkling in French. It's a method of producing sparkling wine, and this is how another difference, that involves bottling the wine before the first fermentation is complete. allowing the fermentation to finish in the bottle. The results are a wine that's naturally carbonated. Now, you might have heard, instead of pet nat, Ancestrale method, and that's the same category as pet nat. They're basically, the production is the same thing. As an example of pet nat or Ancestrale method, we have field recordings Posy from 2022, and it's about $25. It's 100% Muscat Blanc grape from 25-year-old vineyards in the North Canyon of Santa Maria Valley on the central coast of California. So it's picked early for optimal acidity. So this wine is very acidic, and it's also incredibly aromatic because of the Muscat Blanc grapes that are known for their high aromatics. It's bone dry, incredible florals, wildflower, passion fruit. Again, this is such a versatile wine and can go with or without food, your choice.
So here's an interesting thing. The original Prosecco wasn't the sweet, fruity, or bubbly wine that we know today. Before 1895, and going back as far as the 9th century, the method to make Prosecco was called col fondo, or rifermentato in bottiglia, re-fermented in bottle. Now, what's interesting about this style of wine, which you can find in Italy in the Prosecco region, is that, like the traditional method, a base wine is made and bottled. So a dry wine is bottled like in the traditional method, and then grape must, instead of sugar, is added, and the wine is re-fermented in the bottle. So similar to the traditional method in that way, but it's not disgorged. So like a pet nat, you get sort of a cloudy wine, and you also get a wine that's a little more frizzante than sparkling, sort of like pet nat is a little more frizzante than sparkling. An example of the col fondo wine is the Bellenda col fondo, which retails for about $20. And Bellenda is a family winery in Conigliano Valdobbiadene in the Prosecco region. Owner and winemaker Umberto Cosmo is a curious and adventure man who, in addition to traditional Prosecco, he makes Metodo Classico Prosecco, Metodo Ancestrale Prosecco, the two styles we've spoken about, as well as col fondo. And this was a style that was enjoyed by local farmers. So it's made from the Glera grape like Prosecco, and it has a little yeast sediment and delicate bubbles. And it's just dry and crisp and beautifully richly flavored. It's got apple and pear and honeysuckle and lychee, and there's almost like an herbal to it, like a little mint herbalness to it that's just absolutely beautiful.
In this episode, we've learned 4 unique styles of sparkling wine. And I'm guessing that by now you've decided which unique style you'd like to try. So share your favorite style in the comments and subscribe to our channel for more. Cheers.